In the colorful, chaotic world of ether, where avatars soared like winged cupcakes and dragons boasted glittering scales, something was terribly wrong. The sun, a friendly-faced emoji, beamed down on rolling hills made of marshmallows, while rivers of chocolate flowed with a sugary promise. For Jamie, a tech support worker who preferred her cozy couch over socializing, it was a technicolor dream come true. At least until today. Jamie had logged into Ether that morning, her avatar, a bizarre hybrid of a dragon and a cupcake, bouncing around cheerfully. Her sparkly pink wings flapped with all the grace of a drunk flamingo. "Hey, everyone," she called out to the other players. "Who wants to join me for a quest? I need a team to help me find the lost sprinkles of destiny." Her enthusiasm, however, was met with the muffled sound of avatars glitching out. A nearby knight, his pixelated armor clanking, was trying to draw his sword but was instead stuck in a comically exaggerated pose, forever caught mid-swing. "What's happening?" he grumbled, frustration echoing in his digital voice, "probably just a bug." Jamie replied, her optimism undeterred. She zoomed over to help him, but before she could even think about untangling him from his own weapon, the ground began to tremble. Suddenly, a loud, glitchy voice boomed through the virtual sky. "Welcome to the end of Ether." The sky turned a frantic shade of purple, and digital trees sprouted legs and dashed off into the horizon. Jamie's heart raced. What is going on? She wondered, her cupcake body wobbling as the ground shook beneath her. Around her, avatars began to panic. Pigs with jetpacks zoomed overhead, trailing rainbow smoke, while a group of elves yelled about the lava that had inexplicably replaced the serene lake. Jamie, torn between laughter and dread, found herself wondering if she'd accidentally entered a cosmic comedy show. As chaos erupted, she spotted a group of misfits trying to maintain some semblance of order. There was Tinker, the wisecracking robot, who had a knack for sarcasm that could cut through even the thickest tension. Beside him stood Alara, an overly serious elf who had probably read too many self-help books, and Nibbles, a sassy talking cat who always had an opinion about everything, especially food. "Is this part of the update?" Tinker quipped, his metal joints creaking as he gestured at the madness. "Or did someone accidentally spill the code for a circus?" Alara rolled her eyes, adjusting her imaginary glasses. "Focus, people. We need to figure out what's causing this chaos before Ether implodes." Before Jamie could think of a response, a giant marshmallow fell from the sky, bouncing harmlessly off Tinker's head. "Great," he sighed. "Now I'm being attacked by candy. Just my luck." As laughter bubbled up among the group, Jamie felt a strange sense of camaraderie. Maybe they could turn this disaster into something positive. "We need to find out who's behind this," she declared, a spark of determination lighting her cupcake heart. "Let's go." The gang set off, dodging glitching trees and flying desserts, each step taking them deeper into the heart of Ether's chaos. Along the way, Jamie couldn't help but reflect on how bizarre it was to feel so connected to these avatars, each representing a different slice of humanity. Tinker's humor masked his fear of becoming obsolete, Alara's seriousness hid a longing for acceptance, and Nibble's constant bickering covered up an insecurity about being left behind. They arrived at a shimmering portal marked Developer's Zone, a place that shouldn't have been accessible to players. "This can't be good," Jamie muttered. But the allure of discovery was too great. With a shared glance of resolve, they stepped through the portal. On the other side, they found themselves in a sterile, dimly lit room filled with screens displaying lines of code and holographic images of Ether. In the center stood a figure shrouded in shadows, fingers dancing across a keyboard with frenetic energy. "Welcome, unwelcome guests," the figure sneered, spinning around to reveal a face twisted by bitterness. "You're just in time to witness the grand finale." Jamie recognized the rogue programmer, a former Ether developer who had been fired for trying to push through overly ambitious updates. "You're the one causing this," she exclaimed, incredulity mixing with anger. "Why would you do this?" The programmer's eyes gleamed with a manic intensity. "You think you understand? This world is a facade. I'm tearing down the walls between avatars and humans. No more separation, just raw, unfiltered chaos." "But that's not what Ether was meant to be." Jamie shot back, stepping forward despite the quaking ground. "It's a place for connection, for trust. You're just letting your fears control you." In a flash, the programmer's expression shifted. For a moment, the rage faded, revealing a flicker of vulnerability. "Trust?" he echoed, his voice cracking. "Do you think that's what this is about?" Jamie felt a wave of empathy wash over her. "I know what it's like to feel lost," she said softly. "But destroying this world isn't the answer. We can rebuild it together, if you let us." As she spoke, the chaos outside grew even more intense, threatening to swallow them whole. The programmer hesitated, caught in a battle between his desire for revenge and the glimmer of hope Jamie offered. With a deep breath, he stepped back, fingers hovering above the keyboard. What do you propose?" Before Jamie could respond, a surge of energy erupted, and the virtual ground shook violently. She realized that time was running out. "We need to work together," she insisted. "We'll fix Ether, but we need you. We need your skills, your knowledge. We can create a place where everyone belongs." The programmer stared at her, and in that moment, she saw the flicker of humanity buried beneath layers of hurt and anger. Slowly, he nodded. "All right. Let's see if we can salvage this mess." With renewed purpose, they hurried to work, the programmer typing furiously while Jamie and her friends brainstormed ideas for rebuilding Ether. Laughter mingled with urgency as they shared their visions, blending humor with heartfelt conversations about their fears and hopes. They designed a new update, one that encouraged players to confront their fears and connect with others in meaningful ways. The rogue programmer, now an ally, began to rewrite the code, infusing it with empathy and understanding. "This isn't just a game," he remarked, a hint of softness in his voice. "It's a reflection of us." As the last lines of code were entered, a brilliant light enveloped the room, and the chaos outside began to settle. The flying pigs and malfunctioning trees slowly returned to their rightful places, and the sky brightened into a calming blue. "Welcome to the new Ether," Jamie said with a grin, her cupcake wings flapping with joy. "Let's spread the word." As they stepped back into the revitalized world, Jamie felt a surge of confidence. She had faced fears, built trust, and discovered the power of connection. In the bustling streets of Ether, players began to gather, curious about the changes. Now, instead of chaotic confusion, they found an inviting community where they could share their stories, fears, and hopes without judgment. Jamie looked around, witnessing the vibrant interactions blooming all around her. "Look at this place," she exclaimed, beaming at her friends. "We did it." As laughter filled the air, Jamie knew they had transformed Ether into a world of trust and connection, a reflection of what it truly meant to be human. She glanced back at the rogue programmer, who was now surrounded by avatars eager to embrace him. "You see," she said with a wink. "Chaos can be fun, but connection? That's the real adventure." And with that, Jamie knew she would never feel invisible again. As the vibrant world of ether thrummed with newfound life, Jamie reveled in the camaraderie that filled the air. Laughter echoed as avatars exchanged stories, sharing both their triumphs and vulnerabilities. It was a celebration of connection, a feast of trust that had been stitched together from the very fabric of their fears and hopes. "Look at them!" Jamie exclaimed, her cupcake wings fluttering with excitement as she pointed to a group of players forming a circle. In the center, an avatar dressed as a jester performed silly tricks, bringing smiles and cheers. "This is what ether was meant to be." "Not bad for a day's work," Tinker chimed in, his metallic voice laced with playful sarcasm. He rolled his eyes at an avatar who tripped over his own feet, falling into a puddle of chocolate. "Next, we'll have to implement a no face planting feature." Right after the "Don't hug the marshmallow trees" update, Nibbles added with a smirk, tail flicking in amusement. The playful banter lightened the mood, as everyone began to relax, leaving behind the remnants of panic from earlier. As they mingled with the crowd, Jamie noticed a shy avatar lurking at the edge, watching the festivities with wide, curious eyes. It was a small creature with floppy ears and oversized glasses, clearly designed to look awkwardly adorable. Jamie felt a pang of empathy. She remembered her own insecurities and how they had kept her from connecting with others. "Hey, look at that one." Jamie nudged Alara, who had been observing the scene with a contemplative expression. "Should we invite them over?" "Absolutely," Alara replied, her serious demeanor softening. "Everyone deserves to be included." With a shared nod of determination, they approached the shy avatar. "Hi there," Jamie called out, her voice warm and inviting. "What's your name?" The creature hesitated, glancing down as if the ground were suddenly the most fascinating thing in ether. "I'm Bingle," it squeaked, ears drooping slightly. I've just been watching." "Well, Bingle, we'd love for you to join us," Jamie said, gesturing toward the festivities. "We're celebrating the new ether. It's all about connection and having fun." Bingle's big eyes sparkled with uncertainty. "But what if I mess up? What if no one wants to play with me?" "Trust me, everyone here has felt that way at some point," Tinker chimed in, his robotic voice comforting. "The only way to mess up is to not join in. Plus, I can guarantee that if you trip, I'll be the one to catch you, just not literally, because I'm made of metal." A small smile tugged at Bingle's lips. With a gentle nudge from Jamie and a supportive grin from Alara, Bingle stepped forward, hesitantly joining the group. As they danced and played, Jamie felt a sense of pride swell within her. The magic of ether was not just in its whimsical landscapes but in the connections being forged, one shy avatar at a time. After a while, they gathered around a large bonfire that had spontaneously appeared, the flames dancing in sync with the laughter that erupted around it. The rogue programmer, who had become a surprisingly welcome member of their group, stood nearby, observing with a mixture of awe and pride. "Did you ever think it would turn out like this?" Jamie asked, her voice carrying over the crackle of the fire. "No, I honestly thought I was on a one-way ticket to destruction," he admitted, rubbing the back of his neck. "But seeing everyone come together, it's incredible. I've never felt this kind of connection in the real world." "You're not alone in that," Jamie replied, her expression sincere. "This place gives us the chance to be who we really are, without the fears holding us back." As the night wore on, stories were exchanged, and Jamie found herself sharing her own journey, how she had once felt invisible, lost in the chaos of life outside ether. The others listened intently, their faces reflecting understanding and empathy. Bingle, now more comfortable, shared his own fears. I used to think everyone was better than me, he confessed, voice trembling slightly. But now, I realize that we're all just trying to find our place. Exactly. Nibbles interjected, puffing out his chest as if he were the spokesperson for the entire group. We're all wonderfully weird in our own ways. I mean, just look at me. Laughter erupted again, and Jamie felt a warmth spreading in her chest. It was as if the world around them had transformed into a tapestry of shared experiences and acceptance. They were all different threads, woven together into something beautiful. As the fire flickered and the stars twinkled above, Jamie glanced around at her friends, her family, in a sense. Each of them had faced their own battles, yet here they were, united in a place where trust reigned supreme. She caught the programmer's eye, and he nodded at her, a silent acknowledgement of the journey they had taken together. Let's make a pact, Jamie proposed, raising her cupcake-shaped hands. No matter what happens in the real world, we promise to be there for each other here. To support one another, to uplift, and to ensure no one ever feels alone again. The group echoed their agreement, hands in the air, creating a circle of trust illuminated by the glow of the bonfire. As they cheered, Jamie felt a surge of hope. They were not just avatars in a game, they were people learning to navigate their fears, finding strength in connection. As the night continued, stories of adventure and mishaps flowed freely. Jamie shared tales of her tech support job, embellishing her encounters with eccentric customers, causing raucous laughter. And then there was the one who thought Wi-Fi was a type of sushi, she exclaimed, imitating the bewildered customer's expression. The laughter was infectious, wrapping around them like a cozy blanket. The rogue programmer chimed in with his own anecdotes from the development side of Ether, recounting moments when he had to troubleshoot wild bugs that turned players into oversized vegetables. That's when I knew we were crossing a line, he chuckled, eyes sparkling with mischief. But hey, at least the lettuce was organic. As dawn approached, casting a soft light across the virtual landscape, Jamie felt a profound sense of peace. The chaos had transformed into harmony, and the bonds forged through laughter and shared experiences had created a community unlike any other. Thank you all for being a part of this, Jamie said, her voice filled with sincerity. You've helped me see that connection is what makes life, both virtual and real, truly worthwhile. With renewed energy, they made plans for the day ahead, brainstorming ways to enhance their adventures in Ether. Ideas flowed freely, each suggestion met with enthusiasm. They decided to create new quests focused on teamwork and trust building, ensuring that every player felt included and valued. As they set off to explore new areas of Ether, Jamie felt a sense of belonging wash over her. The journey ahead was not just about the adventures they would undertake, but about nurturing the community they had built. She glanced back at her friends, each of them embodying the spirit of Ether, vibrant, unique, and unafraid to embrace their true selves. With the sun rising over a world transformed, Jamie smiled, knowing that this was just the beginning of a new chapter, not just in Ether but in her life as well. She had discovered that the real magic lay not just in the adventures they shared but in the relationships they cultivated, the laughter that rang out like music, and the unbreakable bonds formed in the face of chaos. And so, together, they soared into the horizon of Ether, ready to embrace whatever adventures awaited them, united in trust, hope, and a shared love for the whimsical world they had helped rebuild. The end.